Right, keep an eye on Bromley in Sky Bet League 2. I tipped them for a good month on our show, Good Month, Bad Month, which is exactly the show that you think it is based on that name. It's for paid subscribers of NTT20.com. I said, Bromley, good month. I said, George, I don't think they're going to do anything particularly differently or better than they have done throughout the season so far, but I think their way of playing keeps everything so tight. They are so sure of themselves and they know exactly how to go about their business. And as conditions get a little trickier and free-flowing football comes a little trickier to some teams who maybe are going that way early on in the season, they're going to have a run of games where things are going to fall their way. And it starts here at Colchester, who are the team with lots of exciting, pacey attacking players. Mbik and Tavide started together here. Lisby's there. Anderson's there. All the guys that have been big for them recently. But no Jack Payne. Maybe that was important here. A classic Bromley away win. Soaked up the early pressure. Bit of fortune when Kyrese Lisby missed a great chance. I can't tell you how good the ultimate Lisby feature from the start of the season has been for us, because Kyrese has been one of the most involved players in League 2 this season, by which I mean he's right up there for XG, but he plays off the wing. He's not even a number 9. He's so quick. He's got an unbelievable knack for getting into good goal scoring positions and no knack at all for finishing them. Just didn't get the finishing genetics from his father, Kevin Lisby. Bishop flashed wide. Good finisher? Kevin Lisby. You think you can have the career he had as a number 9 without being a good finisher? I think your standards are too high, mate. An iconic 90s striker, and you think he couldn't finish his dinner?
I think you might be romanticising him.
Well, is there anything wrong with that? I mean, romanticising a 90s
His goal scoring record was very good for Orient. 46 and 111.
Imagine how many chances he missed, mate, if he managed to score that many.
Charlton, where he's most famous.
Yeah.
155 league games. How many goals?
Well, a lot were off the bench, probably.
16.
16. Icon. Anyway, 0-0 and then 1-0 and then 2-0 because set piece. First one was knocked down for Cheek. He had a shot saved. That was a warning for Colchester. They didn't heed it. It was unheeded. Next one from Pinnock went straight onto the head of Big Omar, who I'm pretty sure Omar Shomi is scoring every game at the moment, but he's only got like 5 goals this season. Andy Woodman said afterwards, yeah, well, all the Premier League teams are doing set pieces. We've been doing them forever. They've always been an important part of the game. And he's right. He also said if I could score every goal from set plays, that'd be absolutely fine by me, just as long as I'm scoring goals. 2-0 came through Michael Cheek, inevitably, and one amazing save from Grant Smith helped them get a 1-0, a very valuable 1-0 for Bromley. Another away win came from our league leaders, George, Walsall.
Do you know what I think some underrated limbs are? Because I feel like limbs are normally associated with like late in the game when you score a late equaliser or a late winner. But when you go 1-0 down after 16 minutes and then you score in the 17th and the 20th minute in front of the away fans, those are also fantastic. Where like they, understandably Walsall fans, absolutely loving it. Especially, I think they would say it's quite on Walsall to respond to a moment of adversity in that way. Kyle Whitmore continued his own kind of personal highlights reel with just a brilliant strike from the edge of the area. After 15 minutes before Daniel Kanu kind of finished off from a pretty scrappy ball, kind of felt him in the box and he finished well. And then Finnegan was there to score his, I think, first goal for the club after his loan move. He from Blackpool. A player who's kind of struggled to really implement or kind of solidify his place in the first team, but it feels like it's a big day for him, starting with a fairly rare start, getting the second Walsall goal and then scoring a header to make it 3-1. Garner scored a decent finish just before half time to make it 3-2 before Rico Brown headed home just after half time to make it 4-2, and that was the end of the scoring. But it was a pretty dominant display by Walsall. It was classic Walsall. 3 expected goals, 17 shots, only just over 100 passes completed, 31% possession. This is Matt Sadler's when they're at their absolute best. Just don't need the ball, incredibly efficient at scoring chances. Without watching the games live, I could never really work out how you can convert that little of the ball into 17 shots, most of which are basically around the goal mouth, but that's what they do. Newport had probably more of the game than Walsall would like in terms of chance creation, but the game was finished early in the second half, and that was that.
Bingo. The second place team, Swindon, they also won. Them and Walsall getting quite valuable wins when you consider that a lot of the teams beneath them dropped points. Swindon's came late on, and they were winless in 3 Before this, it was almost 4 at home to Tranmere. They went ahead, a counter-attack. Prince Will Ehebashaman linking up with Ollie Palmer. Prince Will's shot was saved. Palmer cleaned up for 1-0. Put them ahead, and you'd have thought they'd see that out. But Joseph came off the bench for Tranmere, and his shot from range hit the post. It hit Christian Dennis, who was following it in, and dropped in the goal. 1-1. Tranmere on their way to a valuable away point. There were 2 minutes left when that went in. Then a long ball forward. Prince Will Ehebashaman wins the flick on Finlay Munro, the young wing-back on loan from Aston Villa at Swindon. Gets the ball, tries to whip in across, is blocked, and it goes straight back out to him. Takes a touch inside, the left footer, onto his right foot, and hits a swinger. And it arrows into the far corner. A big moment for a young player that must be among the most popular loanees of 25-26 so far. It's his first time playing senior football in the EFL. His previous loan was with Real Union last season, can you believe? But he's been so good for Swindon. And when Holloway talked about him in the post-match, he sort of talked about him in a way that you could tell he's really, really fond of him and he thinks he's really good, but he doesn't want to go too big on him in case it gets picked up elsewhere and he gets recalled and sent to League One in January. Tricky balance to find when you're a League Two club with a good loanee. But Munro wins the game for Swindon here. A bit of fortune in that, but a lot of quality as well. And them and Walsall, the two teams that have won 9 games this season, they're both on 29 points with a 3-point buffer to Salford, who drew 0-0 this weekend. One eye-catching performance, certainly in terms of goals scored, George, was Crewe Alex. They beat Shrews 3-1 with a couple of pocket rockets that I'm enjoying watching in Messrs Lunt and O'Reilly.
It's just great to see Lunt on the score sheet for Crewe again. His uncle Kenny, a familiar name and face to those of us of a certain vintage, although he was also a certain vintage by the time he stopped playing. Lunt's been in and out of the Crewe side for a couple of seasons now. He spent a bit of last season on loan at Southport, got a 1-year deal at the start of the season. That's probably playing a bigger part than a lot of Crewe fans expected him to. Already 3 assists on this season, and then a really nicely taken goal here to open the scoring, firing it into the kind of far right hand corner from just inside the box. Josh Ruffles followed it up with his first goal for Shrewsbury after joining his old mate Michael Appleton with a strike from outside the area that went to the bottom right hand corner. And then Tommy O'Reilly every so often he does something that makes me think he's just really good, and this was another one of those, just like a strike that is just basically better than the quality. Like, it just stands out as being a moment of brilliance that kind of stands out and got Crewe the lead before Omar Bogle with just quite a weird goal. Like, Omar Bogle comes off the bench with 2 minutes to go in the game, is set clear down the right hand side, not the fastest, so I don't know who it was trying to catch up with him. I think it was Anderson, also not the fastest, but does so effectively. Bogle kind of like manages to kind of Suarez it through Anderson, like just kind of turn into him, and the ball bobbles out into his path. Sends the keeper, kind of sits keeper down and passes into the back of the net, and then runs off into the corner, taking his shirt off and getting a booking for it. Just great scenes from Omar. Good to see that he still cares. Crewe are a team that I, again, basically was concerned about them to start the season. They start the season incredibly well. Really exciting football. Great results. As soon as we're like, Crewe are pretty good.
Yeah.
Massively turns down. Like, results get bad. Football's bad. Really struggling to score in games. You're like, ooh, go win a bit early on Crewe. And then in the last couple of games, 3-1 win against Shrewsbury, the 3-2 win against Grimsby before that. Like, there have been a couple of games, the 2-1 against Notts County a few games ago. Like, you take out the defeat against MK Dons, their form is really good, and the performances are good as well. And they're where are they, 6th or 7th? 7th in the league table now, just 4 points off top spot. Like, it kind of is shown in their record this season, where they played 15, won 8, lost 6, and drawn 1. Like, either they're good or they're bad, and that seems to have come in patches this season. But again, they're another team on my radar now as actually potentially being quite a good side. Still really concerned about Shrewsbury. Still in 23rd. Still think they look kind of devoid of much quality, and do not have the defensive solidity that you would hope that they would have, given the senior pros they've got in their squad towards the back end. 25 goals conceded from their 15 games, and they're in a massive danger of a double drop in my mind.
It's when a team's wins, a team that hasn't had many wins, it's when their wins, you're like, yeah, no, but you didn't play very well.
Yeah.
That's Shrews for me right now.
Yeah.
So and you want to celebrate them because they don't come around very much. Then you look and you're like, oh no, didn't like that win. Sorry, do it differently.
Yes.
Crewe Alex, roller coaster, isn't it? Really, they should be called the roller coaster men, not the railway men. Crawley Town 2, Fleetwood 1. This one had a quirk. How about a 10th minute red card for 2 yellows? Zach Medley, truly, deeply nuts. He struggled to keep hold of Kaheem Dixon of Crawley, I think it's fair to say. First, Dixon wriggled past him and Medley just bear hugged him to stop him wriggling away. That's a yellow card 4 minutes in. Then bouncing ball on the left, Medley's like, I'm just gonna half volley this and just sort of thwack it into the middle. And Dixon, I don't think he's ever played against someone that's that quick before, because Dixon nips in, heads it, and he just kicks him in the chest. Second yellow card. See you later, Zach Medley. Fleetwood struggled from that point. The goal is still, not the sort of goal you want to concede with 10 men. Crawley goalkeeper catches a cross. Fleetwood have got men forward for a set piece. Keeper just rolls it out to Josh Flint, and he's on his bike. You don't see a lot of players cycling in the EFL, but Flint's on his bike, an 80-yard carry through the middle. Great speed on the ball, and then slots it to Louis Flower to finish nicely. Harry Forster slammed home the second, so it was Flint, Flower and Forster for Crawley against Fleetwood. 2-0 win, and a beauty from Bolton for Fleetwood. Was not enough for them. Crawley, just another slightly rollercoastery team. They started with bad results. You said they were going to be good, don't worry about it. Then they had a couple of really good results, as I recall. But that was just a flash in the pan. Then they picked up 1 point from 5 games. And they've just won back-to-back against Bristol Rovers and against Fleetwood. Their numbers are pretty good. I have no idea what to think about Crawley Town, and that's nothing new. The team that we once predicted to finish bottom of League 2, and they won promotion. So there you go. Similar to Crewe, just don't have a hold on them. Bristol Rovers 0, Gills 1. This Bristol Rovers season is like reminding me of some of my worst hangovers from my era. Just you've just got to get through it, but it still lingers.
Yeah, I mean, it won't be much consolation for Bristol Rovers fans, but they were better here. Like they were the better team for the most part in this game, in basically every single facet. They nearly went behind when Tom Lockyer grappled with, I think it was with Andrews. It was, with Josh Andrews. You can't do that in League Two, I'm afraid, Tom. But the penalty was missed, went straight down the middle, and Salford made the save. They had loads of chances. Cavan, a couple fell to him that he missed. I think Soteria had a decent opportunity as well. Bristol Rovers had 70% possession, dominated the ball, dominated the chances. But then, because Gareth Ainsworth was back in the dugout after his stint in hospital, after heart surgery, his stint in hospital coincided with a horrendous run for Gillingham after, basically, I think they were top of the league when he went into hospital. And they pretty much lost every single game when he was in there. Back on the touchline, and therefore Max Clark thought, you know what, I'm going to just score one from 25 yards against run of play.
Lovely.
And did that, and that was enough to win the game. So for Darryl Clark, he'll be immensely frustrated that whatever they did to try and stop the rot after the back-to-back 4-0 wins kind of worked in terms of the actual performance itself, but they've still come away with another blank in terms of goals scored and points won from the game. It'll be interesting to see what they do, because they are definitely spiralling into a relegation battle, despite aspirations this season to be at the top end of the table. And we know there is a precedent for teams who get relegated out of League One struggling towards the bottom end of League Two. I'm kind of in the mind at the moment to think that if they were to sack Darryl Clark, it would be a big mistake. I think he is someone who we know is relatively capable, or certainly when he gets things right, is very, very capable of improving teams. And there was enough in Saturday's performance for me to suggest that they will come good against a decent Gillingham side, especially when you consider the personnel. Like, Lockyer and Negru should be two brilliant defensive players to have in their side. Lockyer, wouldn't be playing League Two football if it wasn't for his heart issues. And Negru, a standout player at League Two last season. Not to mention the attacking threat that they have in Soteria and Ford and in Cavan. It should come good. But this is a case now with Bristol Rovers where we've seen them be really, really bad in games as well. This wasn't that. But for Gillingham, they'll hope that, especially with with Wilding back in the dugout, this is a huge 3 points to get them back on track.
Not often that checking a fixture list almost knocks me out my chair. But Bristol Rovers' next 2 games in the league are Accrington away and Cheltenham away on the next 2 Saturdays.
Wow.
Spicy. Another 1-0 away win. Another team spiralling are Harrogate. They have lost 5 games in a row. They lost 4 games in a row earlier on in the season. This is a team that quite regularly is struggling this season. Manny Mont hooked home a scramble from a set piece to put Oldham ahead. And they had a couple of other chances, most notably Michael Mellon, who can do everything except score in the league at the moment, but obviously got that nice hat-trick in the FA Cup not long ago. Harrogate offering very, very little. And Oldham, it's only their 4th league win of the season. I feel like they've had to work very, very hard for all the points that they've got. I feel like some of their performances early in the season should have merited more points or should have brought more points. And, it hasn't been the easiest time, reflected in their league position, Oldham, 14th, but deserved winners at Harrogate here. Hudson in goal for Oldham, making a good save or 2. Now, Hugh Davis wrote a sensational piece on NTT20.com.
What else is new?
Yeah. Anything else that's new? No. Just Hugh Davis writing good pieces on NTT20.com. Breaking down positions and roles on the pitch and using stats and some eye test and some knowledge, but mainly stats, to highlight the good performers in League 2. And, spoiler alert, Matt Hudson of Oldham, basically the best shot stopper in League 2 so far this season. We love Matt Hudson. He helped Oldham win this one. Some absolutely insane draws this weekend in League 2. Chesterfield 3, Accrington 3, Aki 2 up in the first half. My mate Tyler Walton, who I tipped for a big season, we almost never got to find out if he was going to have one or not because he was heavily linked with Northampton. Aki held strong. He's missed quite a lot of games this season, I think, with a bit of transfer speculation and then possibly an injury as well, but his goal-scoring record is excellent. 5 goals in 740 minutes. Heath, your mate Isaac Heath, who you like for Aki, heavily involved in both. Tom Naylor scored a classic header in first half injury time to bring it back to 1. And then Markindale slotted a through ball for Lee Bonis to score what has been quite a rare goal for the big summer striker signing. Luke Berry put Chesterfield ahead, and surely they're going to win. 2-0 down, 3-2 up. No. Ball into the box for Aki. Hemming comes and just punches it straight up in the air. And there's a salmon leaping contest in the middle of the box, and it's won by Charlie Caton, who leaps the highest and heads in for a breathless 3-3 draw and a great point for Aki. And what are Chesterfield up to? They are miles off the level I thought they were going to be.
Yep.
Miles off it. Barnet 2, MK Dons 2, Adam Senior scoring for Barnet. Anything else new? I really think Adam Senior needs to retrain as a striker. He's one of the most clinical penalty box marksmen that I've seen, certainly in League 2 this season. Shelton scored a penalty to put them 2-0 up. Did they see it out? No, they didn't. Sanders scoring nice set-piece move from MK. Then we had one of the comedy moments of the season in which Barnet won an indirect free kick inside the box. Always a great moment. Always makes me think of Alan Shearer. And Mark Shelton took the indirect free kick. His mate, like, let's say I'm him.
I know.
You're my mate.
Yeah.
Teammate.
Always.
Colleague. Before friend.
Been downgraded there.
Normally, you tap it to me and I hit it.
Yes.
His mate didn't tap it.
Yeah.
Shelton just stood up and whacked it.
Yeah.
And he hit it. And it went in.
No goal.
Indirect free kick, other way. Maybe even goal kick, actually.
I think it must have just been...
It got so close to flicking a defender, in fairness.
I think that's what... my guess is they knew...
I've never seen anyone take that approach, though.
No.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, why not?
But, like, I'll just hit it at the goal and it might flick off someone and go in. But they might just block it.
It's a tiny flick away from being like, he is a genius, right?
Imagine being the ref that has to decide whether something takes a tiny nick off a defender.
Outcome bias, like, let's not judge it purely on what happened. Like, I like the way that he knew that as soon as that ball's rolled, they were going to run out at him. So he was like, we know they'll also stand still if I just hit it. And there's loads of bodies there. If it hits one and goes in, it's a goal.
What I want you to know, and Mark Shelton, and anyone that's watching this or listening to it, is that I'm not judging it as the right or wrong thing to do. It's just incredibly funny because I've not seen it before. He just smashed it in and then was like, ref, I think maybe it took a nick. And the ref was like, don't think so, mate. And he went, okay, let's crack on. That could have been a 3-1 goal. Instead, it was not. And Nathaniel Mendes-Lang equalised for MK with a lovely finish. Dean Brennan said, and I think he's the first manager to use this season, but you always get a couple of these. He said, anyone who finishes above them will win this title. about MK Dons. So there you go.
I think they might.
Barrow 2, Grimsby 2. Another 2-goal lead thrown away. This time for Grimsby. Really bad day for the goalkeepers here. Will Stanley's been absolutely amazing for Barrow in recent weeks, but with a weird fumble for the first goal and some poor keeping for the second, where he was lobbed by Green. Grimsby were 2-0 up after 15 minutes. They couldn't see it out. Christy Pym caught the bug. Actually, that's quite bad phrasing. He didn't catch anything. 2 long shots. One, he just got completely wrong-footed by Harper. Maybe some swerve on it. Maybe a deflection. Maybe neither. And then a powerful hit from Charlie McCann went straight through his hands. Really pleased to see Charlie McCann back in the EFL, signed recently by Barrow. He played for Forest Green, and he was like quite a good signing for Forest Green. Just happened to coincide with them dropping out the league and being rubbish for a few seasons, but paying him so well that I think it was kind of hard for any EFL club to actually buy him off Forest Green, who famously don't really like selling players. Finally, he's back in the EFL where he belongs. Barrow benefiting from it. Salford 0, Cambridge 0 was a match that happened. Cheltenham ? Notts County ? Is a match that is happening tonight. Hasn't happened yet.
What's the score going to be?
1-2.
1-0.
And League 2 will very much be in the limelight next week as it's international break. No championship, less than half a League 1 docket, League 2 in the limelight, and hopefully providing some quality chat for us this time next week on NTT20 podcast. Thank you to Sky Bet and the Sky Bet EFL Building Foundations Fund for sponsoring the podcast. I hope you guys heard our special episode that went out over the weekend, celebrating and detailing the EFL Week of Action, which is heavily linked, of course, with the Sky Bet EFL Building Foundations Fund and some of the work that we've been doing alongside them this season. Please make sure you go back and listen to that episode. It's pretty special, and we're happy to have put that out over the weekend. Make sure you go read Hugh's piece on NTT20.com. That's got to be it, surely. Okay, final whistle. Go out.